Quilting Compound. I'm Jamie, and today I thought I would share with you some of my finishes, my works in progress, and the spring cleaning that I've been doing today, and what can happen to you when you do your spring cleaning. I wanted to go ahead, I'm going to tell you this story. I just came in from outside. It is so windy here in Kentucky for some reason, but I was cleaning everything this morning, dusting, like moving everything, trying to get all my projects in order and what needed to be done. Everything always needs to be dusted when you're sewing. So I was doing that, and then I finished a quilt, the binding, and I was just doing some trimming around it, and I couldn't find my scissors. My Karen K. Buckley scissors, and these are the best little guys ever. I get them in a sew sampler box. So I have turned my sewing room upside down looking for these scissors, and I went, well, I took out the garbages. Maybe they're in the garbage. So I just came in from outside, and they were in the garbage. So I did find them. I found this seam ripper. It's been over on the other table, buried under something. So I need to do a lot of spring cleaning. So with my spring cleaning, I have been trying to get quilts quilted. I want to get some stuff done. I have been going through trying to get rid of backings for quilts. Like maybe I had too much and I cut it off, and maybe it was, I don't know, 12 by 80 inches long or whatever. I kept that. So I did use some of that this week. So I've been trying to use up some of that, and I actually made a backing that I'm going to show you, and this fabric was from Fons and Porter. So you know how old that is. So I have been really trying to use up my stuff, use my stash up, and get all these projects out, see what I can get on the long arm, see what just needs the border sewn on, see what just needs to be, fully finished. So I'm going to go ahead and start with a really small, not quite fully finished, but it just needs to be framed or put on a board, a sticky board. I'm still kind of a little newish to all the cross stitch, but I did finish my little Easter egg here. So this is a finish, but it needs to be fully finished. So I've been trying to look around for a little frame or some kind of board or something to put it on, but I didn't get to go to Hobby Lobby to see what was on clearance or what they still had for Easter. So I'm on the search for this to go on something, and I think it turned out really cute. So that is like a fully finish. Next, I have a finish, and you can see it. It's right behind me on the wall. I did this video, I don't know how many years ago. And look, it's so many years ago, I can't remember. I think I made this out of a layer cake and some black and white yardage. See, I can't remember. I'd have to go back and look. But this is a pattern that I made up and figured out how I wanted to lay it out, which gave you the 4 patches there. But I am going to get a little bit closer to show you the quilting and all that. And all my quilting has been going a whole lot better since I started using, I've already, coined the term Jay's Way. Jay of A Stitch in Time did a video on how to load your quilts on the long arm, and I've had the best results. Now I'm like excited to go in there and get a quilt on. So that's probably another reason why I'm going through all my quilts that need to be quilted. It's like I can't wait to get them on there and get them done, because everything's just going so much better. And I've actually even learned how to download a digital pantograph and put it on my long arm. So I've learned how to do that almost with my husband's help a little bit. But so I've done that. I've got 2, actually the finishes I'm going to show you, they're newly downloaded digital patterns that I got. And I think one of them was free. So that was really good. I think it's on this one right here. So I'm going to get a little bit closer and show it to you here in a minute. But while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and show you some projects that are a long way from done. It would take too long to lay them up on the board, and I think I have done that before. That's how old they are. So here are some squares that I did years ago using Thangles. I can even look and see my stitches on some of them, but here are some of the blocks. They just need to be sewn together either with a border, and I can see the stitches on this one too, if I can remember, because this was so long ago. I think they provided the fabric and the Thangles. It was a block of the month from the quilt store's not even there anymore. It was in Louisville on 03rd Street. It was called Happy Hearts Quilt Shop. So these are some of the blocks that we sewed up. So like I said, all I need to do is just probably get some sashing together maybe, and sew them up. Do I have any of this fabric? No, I don't think I do. I don't think I have any of this fabric, so that is one of the problems. I could always just do black, I guess, or white, but you know how I feel about white. So these were all using Thangles, which is, you know, it's just another version of the paper piecing, like the triangle papers on a roll. They're like those, except they were called Thangles back then. So those are the blocks that just need to be sewn together and quilted. Next is, so we're on the 3rd year of Social Lights from Fat Quarter Shop. The first year I did it, it's quilted, it's done, it's hanging on my quilt ladder downstairs. So here is year 2. Here's all the patterns. This is the pattern layout that they gave you. Well, they also had a different alternate layout that somebody did was a butterfly, and I was like, ooh, I'm gonna do that one. So, and then I never did it. So I think I'm just gonna use this one instead, because I like that. It doesn't have to be in the shape of a butterfly. But here is all my blocks. But I used Tulip Pink. And I just now looked in here, and guess what I've got in here with this? All the fabric that I used in all the blocks. So one block, like I said, it is a lot to show you. I did a lot of fussy cutting with hers. See that face in the center? Here is the butterfly, which you could probably just look at this and lay out your blocks. This is just a basic one. This has the hourglass in the center, but this will be very long. I know, I remember who, Susan Aki, I'm pretty sure that was her block. Here are, you know, some of the blocks, they just need to be put together and sewn. And there's a lot of cool blocks in this one. And as far as Socialites 3 that's going on, I got my fat quarter bundle picked out, my yardage to go with it. Actually, I was going to use fat quarters and just do different ones. And I have not sewn one block because I have been trying to finish other things and, you know, do my own stuff. And I was so excited about it. I was like, oh, I can't wait to do that. And I haven't even started. So I'll go as quick as I can through some of these blocks that need to be sewn together. And of course, they all need to be pressed because they have been in this bin. There's the cat. I like that block, but it looks like it was difficult at the time. Here's another one that was fussy cut. And the thing is, you know, some of these blocks, I don't remember making that block. Nice bright colors. I like that block too. Almost done with these. That's a lot of points. Let me check them out. Not too bad. I would rather have a little bit more of fabric showing here than cut my point off. So that's not too bad. I like this block too. So those are the Socialites 2 blocks that need to be sewn together. And one day, and I'll put that in there with that. And then I know I showed this before on another video, and I still haven't got them sewn up. This was made out of a layer cake, and it was a layer cake, I know, and it seems like maybe a jelly roll too. So these are all just blue blocks. I'm not going to go through here, and it was just a little formula sew that I did. Can you see I just sewed around, and then I made certain cuts. Can you see that? They have that square like that surrounding them, or strips. Here's another one. Pretty fabric. And there's another one. So those blocks actually just need to be sewn together too, and that will be a quilt. Okay, so that's stuff that's really far off from being finished. Okay, so now I'm going to show you, since I already have this hanging up, I'll go ahead and show you my finishes, and then we'll go on to my other ones that are just need to be long armed or just need some borders. Okay, so this quilt finish, I looked it up. It is the triangle free pre-cut quilt, and there is a tutorial for it. And let me see if I can see what year I did this. 2023. So, matter of fact, I think it's in April. Yeah. So it's been almost 3 years and I haven't got this finished till now. But hey, it is finished. And now I'm going to move you up a little closer. I couldn't get it all in because it is a pretty good size quilt. I'm going to move you up a little closer so you can see the quilting on it. Okay, I'm going to show you some of the quilting. It's right here. It's kind of like a flower. This was a free pattern. And then it has this like swirl right here, which worked out really good because in some of the fabric, like right here, this fabric, if y'all can see it, it also has that swirl. So I thought that went pretty good with the digital pattern that I downloaded. I thought went really well with some of the fabrics in this quilt, especially with the flower right here and some of the other flowers. So this is like a flower, and then it had that swirl. So that is what I picked out. I think it's called Baby Blue, maybe. If anybody wants to know, I'll find it for them. But so this is a finish, and it's about time because it took me almost 3 years to get it finished. So we'll go on to the next finish. Okay, this is something I always forget. I forget to show you the back. I pieced this back, and I think you got to see the binding, which is really cool, this binding. See that? And since I did this quilt so long ago, I forgot that I even had this. I was just going through my fabric and I went, oh, look at that. I actually have the binding. So, and here is the backing. Oh, and there's another story with this one. See that little strip of black here? Okay, well, let me show you. So I'll show you the back where I pieced it. And then I found I had this other yardage here, this crazy stuff. Look at that in there. And then this strip of black here. And I'll show you this binding, which I really do like the binding. So that's what the binding looks like all the way through, and you can see that quilting there. So when I put this on the long arm, I had my piece backing laid out, and I threw the top on top of it, and I was like, you know, just to be safe, I better sew a leftover strip of something else on there, because, you know, if I start my long arm a little bit too far down or whatever, I don't want to be short. And you know what? Good call, huh? Because I would have been about 1.5 inches, 2 inches short on that backing. So you don't want that to happen. So always double check. Make sure that you have enough backing. So that was finish number 1. Let's go on to finish number 2. Okay, so this is finish number 2, and I also did a tutorial on this. This was just a month ago, but it's complete. Also, this is a new digital pattern I downloaded for the quilting, and I've used it twice, and I really like it. And so now you can see the design that I was going for here in this 2-color-ish quilt, because the red does have a pattern in it. So I think this is a great idea. If you have 2 colors, what would this look like though in red, white, and blue? That might be pretty cool. Or a black and white, or maybe black and silver. You know, the ideas what you could do with this quilt, I think, are endless. So this is finish number 2. I also did a piece backing on it, and I will also get up a little closer to show you the quilting, or I'll bring it to you. Okay, so this is the quilting. Can you see that? See that quilting? That pattern? I think it's just, is it called circles and squares maybe? But I really like it. It lays out really good. Thank you, Jay. So I've been really happy with all the long arming. So I just want to go in there and do some more. So here's the back, and it's got a, I'm going to have to run my lint roller over it again so you can really see. So it looks like I just did this cream, and I just vacuumed, and I'm going to vacuum again. See that? And this red, I think it's like a Kim deal. So the story with this quilt is, if you got to see the last, was it the last tutorial? The peach quilt. My daughter said she wanted it, but then my mom claimed it, so my mom got it. Well, then she calls me and she was like, I think I need a red quilt for my red bedroom. And I literally had just finished this, and I said, I think I've got something for you, if it's red enough. So she's getting this one, and I'm glad to see that she's not necessarily a quilt person, but she's had to turn into one. So she's now decorating her rooms, laying them at the end of her beds with all my quilts. So that is good. So this was finish number 2. So on to number 3. This is finish number 3. This is, I think I called it Double Diamonds. I did a tutorial on it. It's a layer cake. And just this week, I went ahead and decided to add a border around it. And I had my daughter pick out the binding because, of course, I couldn't make up my mind. I put like 3 fabrics out there, and I said pick. So she picked the black one. It does not go with the actual layer cake, but it has all the colors and about the same, you know, what's it, genre here. So, and the border I went ahead and did it the length of the fabric, so I didn't piece any of the border. I usually don't do that, but I was like, what the heck, I'll try it. And I did the same quilt pattern that I did on the last one, on quilt number 2. I used it for this one because I thought it went pretty good with the, you know, the way the blocks are with the stitch and flips around it. And you can see a little bit of a secondary pattern right here, kind of like almost looks like a star. See that? So this was double diamonds. I did it in January, but I forgot what I even said. January 2023. So it took me over 3 years to get this complete. But it is complete now. And I'll take it down and I'll show you the back and some quilting up close. Okay, so here is the quilt up close, and that is the binding, basically, that she chose, that I gave her to pick from. And see, there's that quilting with the circles and the squares. And I want to show you some of this backing. This fabric right here is a Fawns and Porter fabric. So I'm assuming it's probably 20 years old, at least. And here is another fabric that I pulled out, and it is probably 20 years old. But hey, I got to use it on the back of this quilt. So I got to use it. I'm trying to get some of the stuff I've used. Here is a leftover from another quilt that I finished, a backing. So that is my pieced backing. Let's see if I can get, I don't know if it's as straight as I would like it to be. Of course, from here, it looks perfectly fine. But let's see if you can see any of that quilting. There you go. You can see it there. See all these oldie but goodie fabrics. So that is finish number 3. And now we'll go on to maybe what needs a border, and one of them needs a lot of work on a border. So I'll show you those. Okay, so here is one of the scrap quilts that I did for the scrap bucket challenge, using all of my batiks. So with this one, I already have the borders cut, or at least one of them. Now that I'm looking at it, I might go through my batiks and put a bigger border around it, maybe to make it a little bit bigger. We'll see. I haven't even got these on, and they've been cut since I got the top completed. But I'm already looking at the top, and I can already see some of my stitches are coming out. So I'm going to have to go around and restitch those, or see if they can get caught in this when I put this border on. So that is my quilt that just needs a border, and I'll decide if I want to add another border or just put a binding on. And I really wanted to put this on because of all the piecing around there that is coming loose. That's why I wanted to put this on there. So I should have done it then, but I didn't. So that's all that needs to be done to this, and it will be ready to go on the long arm. And because I didn't use white, probably I won't have a lot of clipping to do on the back, so you can't see through the gray like you can a white. And that's why I've been on white strike, and I still am. So on to the next quilt that needs some borders too. Okay, so this quilt right here, of course it was a video too, and I did it in January of 2024. So only a little over 2 years, but it needs big time border work. So all these flying geese that I did, I have to put flying geese and the stars all the way around this quilt. And what happened with this is I actually ran out of the fabric, the background. So I changed to this, and I didn't really like it, but it's what I had. So I used it, but I found the background fabric. So I think if I don't know if I would do this. I would have to take those blocks out, and there's 4 of them. There's 2 on this side, and then there's 2 on this side. I would have to take those out and put the new blocks in with the new background. Then I would have to do the background with the flying geese and the stars here all the way around the quilt. So that's what needs to be done with this quilt. So this was how many ways are there to make the flying geese block. It's how to do different, I think I did maybe 4 different ways to make the flying geese. And I showed you how to make this quilt also. if I'm not mistaken. So, but it is in my, it is part of my content, we'll say. So that is a big, big taking to do the border to this quilt, but I think that's the only way you can go about it. I actually took it up to my local quilt shop, and I was showing it to Jennifer, the owner there, and she was like, yeah, you've got to do the flying geese all the way around in the stars there. And I was like, so I do have to do that. So that is on my list too. And I think I'm going to have a challenge of maybe I'll do the number system like everybody else is doing, and each quilt will get a number and I'll just pick a number. We'll see. We'll see if I do that or not. So this one's got a lot of work left to do on it. So on to the next. All right, here is another oldie. I've showed this before. All it needs is some borders. And I have the fabric for borders, or I must have picked this for a binding. I don't know. It's been so long now. This was for my husband, and you see that I still don't have it finished. And I don't know why. And, this was Modern Lodge by Benartex. So I still have the layer cake or 10-inch square that it came from. So I have all the fabrics I need to finish this. Why haven't I got it done? I don't know. So this is a pattern I just made up myself. So you can't find it anywhere. Maybe I'll do something like it again, because it does have the layer cakes, and they're all pieced really big, so you don't have to cut them. Pieced really big, really. So I didn't cut into them. So the pinwheels and all that. So this is, like I said, it's just a pattern I made up. It just needs borders and to be thrown on the long arm and get done. I'll put it on my list with all the others. So maybe it is time for that challenge. Okay, so we will go on to the next quilt that needs just a little work to it. Okay, so this is one of the Bargello quilts that I did. It was how to make a Bargello like out of 4 yards or something. This was maybe one of my practices. And I went ahead, finished it, quilted it, and then I needed a binding. And I did not have a yellow to match. I did not have the right color blues to match, and I carried around the yellows and the blues in my purse for a long time, and wherever I went, I tried to find a match. So, I mean, that is all it needs, is a binding. Literally, when I got this out, I looked over, and hang on just a second. Okay. So I looked over and I saw this and I went, why couldn't I just use this? But I don't think I can, because I only have a 1/2 yard. I'll have to do the calculations. I don't think that's enough to do the binding unless I made it smaller. I usually do a 2.5. But then I saw this too and I thought, why couldn't I just get it finished? Okay, just do it. I have this fabric right here, and it has all the colors and a little bit more, of course, that is in this. And if I just went ahead and did it, it'd be done. I could have it on my done list. And I also quilted it. I think it's one of the first quilts I quilted on my new long arm. It is dragonflies, which some of this fabric has dragonflies. So this is a thought. I'm going to look around my room again, and maybe I have got something and I just don't even realize. So I can get this finished. Just needs binding. How easy. Okay, so here is this is a really old one. I did this years and years, 20 years plus ago. I've showed it before. It's got a few blocks that are off. I think I could fix them. I don't know. It seems like my skills got better. So I think I could fix them, but I would have to start picking and trying to get them together. Or do I just throw it on the long arm? See, from here it looks pretty good. It's a little wrinkled, but it don't look bad from here. So maybe I should just, I don't know. I could add another border. I could throw it on the long arm and just get it sewn up and be done. So that is a finish from long ago that's got a few blocks. that are a little off. I mean, just a little bit. And I don't know how I did that, but I did. So this is something that can be finished pretty quick, or it could take me a little bit to get it all the blocks lined up. So that is another work in progress. Okay, so this one is so small, I don't think I need to hang it up. You've probably all seen this hanging around. This is just my little calendar jar quilt of all the scraps, like from that year, whatever I could find that I thought would go. So January is the winter with the snowflakes and the gloves. Then of course, we got February with the hearts. Then we got March with the shamrocks for St. Patrick's Day. And then of course we have Easter in April. So I tried to do each month what fabric I had for the theme. Kentucky, we have the Derby, so I did horses and hats. And then there's Kentucky at the bottom, and that's in May, because we always have Derby the first Saturday in May. It's a big thing here. Then June is beach time, so I had this beach fabric. And then of course we have 4th of July with the flags. And then we have August here, and a lot of the stuff in the gardens, like your tomatoes and all that, are really coming in August. Also in July, but you know, you have to do 4th of July. Then here's September. Had a hard time with September. So that's when your leaves start to change a little bit. So I did some pine cones and the leaves changing. And then of course we have Halloween with the pumpkin and the cat. And then we have November with the turkey and autumn blessings and pumpkins for Thanksgiving. And then of course we have December, which is winter with the Christmas theme. So that is my little jar calendar quilt. And I'm gonna go ahead and, since this is so small, I'm just gonna go ahead and get it finished. I'll have to do some trimming on the back to get all these. And I know y'all always hear me, what am I talking about? All this stuff, if you don't get that trimmed when you quilt your quilt, a lot of times you will see it through your quilt. And I don't want that to happen. So this one should be pretty easy. I could probably throw it on there with something else and get it all quilted at once. So that is another thing. Just needs to be long armed, unless I decide I want to put another border, but I don't think so, because I think this is a good wall hanging. So let's see what else I got. Okay, so this is the quilt that I did for National Sew a Jelly Roll Day. Well, this was the practice quilt. And so I did another one for the actual video. So this one just needs to be quilted. Unless I want to make it bigger, I could add a border and all that, but I don't think I'm going to. It's a decent enough, it's throw size, I guess. So I did a video for that. And this one is only, this one I did in September of 2025 for National Sew a Jelly Roll Day. So it just needs to be quilted. The other one that I did for the video, I've given it away. So I did at least get that one done and gave it to somebody that I go to church with. So, all right, that is that one. And if you want a tutorial on it, it is, you can just go look up all my content, and it's on there from September 2025. And okay, let's get on. I got the stack is waiting for me. Okay, so I'm back. My battery went dead. So, and I lost daylight. So I don't know about the lighting, but I'm just going to go ahead and go on with all these quilts. This was a stash buster. I think it was a fat quarter stash buster, and I did two. This one is getting ready to go on the long arm right now. I have the backing laid out for it. And so this was done while I was still in my other room. So let me see when this one was done. Okay, so it looks like I did this October 28th, 2023. It's a fat quarter stash buster quilt. So, and I have another one very similar. Now these all coordinate, looks like. I think my other one, I think it was just a bunch of fat quarters I put together. So we'll see when we get to that. So on to the next. Okay, so here is the other fat quarter stash buster, and it's really colorful. But they're really big, easy blocks, and I could actually have it up the wrong way. You could put it either way. I just put it where the like dragonflies or whatever those are, butterflies, were up, but they're not up over here. So you could actually turn it the other way because it's equal. It's 36 blocks, 6 across and 6 down. So this was another stash buster, and it looks like some of the fat quarters may have coordinated and some of them were just odds and ends. So you know when you go to the quilt store and they have that fat quarter, buy so many, get one free, and you do, and then you're like, what am I going to do with that? Well, here's what I did with some of mine. I did a stash buster, so I used up some fat quarters on that. So all that needs to be done now, what needs to be pressed. And it needs to be long armed. And let me see, do I have anything to bind this with? Anything left? If I do, I can't remember. But it's so colorful, I could probably throw anything around it. And you know what? Maybe I already have a binding for this. I do have a binding rolled up in there. I wonder if it's to this. Let me go see. Okay, so I haven't looked at this in a while and I don't even know what this is rolled up on. So I have a binding. This looks, well, that's Lori Holt. I don't even know what that's going to go to. Maybe I'll find out when I go through all these quilts. But I think maybe this must have been the scrap that was left over. And I sold it all together. And I usually would put it on the, these are little, these are small. Usually I would sew, on the diagonal device or whatever. But I sewed all these straight. So I don't know, was this what that was for? And what's this for? I mean, I've already got this pressed out. What did I make this for? All right. Oh no, let's go through the stack. Sorry, I shook the camera again. Let's go through the stack and maybe I can find something that's going to match up with stuff I already made. That's why maybe I should, when I get done putting the top together, just immediately get it done. Or so I don't have stuff like this going on. So on to the next. Okay, here's another that needs to be, it just needs to be long armed. I got the borders on. This was a collab I did back in, looks like December 2022 with Sherry from Lessons Learned, Stephanie from Stephanie Stitches, and I think is her name Emily from Terribly Rad. So we all did this pattern and it is called Garden Patio. And I'm trying to think, did we all use the same fabric and we just had to pick a different border and like the lattice, or I don't know, I say lattice sometimes, sashing around the blocks. I think Stephanie may have used blue, somebody used yellow, see I used pink, and of course there was one more color and I don't remember. That was 2022. So it just needs to be quilted. It is a really big quilt too. It's on the floor down here. So, and this is fabric that I think was from the Soya Brothers. That is the fabric I used. And like I said, I think we may have all used that fabric. I'd have to go back and look. But that pattern is available. If anybody wants to know, somebody must be here. If anybody wants to know, just ask me in the comments and I can get you the link to this pattern. This is where I actually finally figured out the best way to line my sashing strips up to get them to line up when you're sewing those blocks. And I think I'd run out of the pink here, and I had to wait and get more pink in, and I think I ordered the wrong one. It was an ordeal, but I got it done in time. So that was a collab done back in 2022, and it just needs to be long-armed. So my gosh, that is going to be almost 4 years. 2022, this is 2026. This is a long time. So it needs to be finished. So on to the next one. So here's another one that needs to be quilted, and I just can't think of a good pattern to put on it. This is a pattern by Chelsea Stratton. This is their fabric line also, other than the green for the stems and the leaves. I don't know if that was part of theirs or not. Their pattern called for different color greens, but I had enough of that to make the whole quilt, so I just left it all the same. Now the border though, is the border theirs fabric? I'm not really sure. I do have that border fabric right down there, and it may not be a part of it, but the rest of it is. So I'm not sure when I did this. Well, I know when I did this. It was before I even started doing YouTube. So it really needs to be quilted. I just can't think of anything to quilt it because of the layout, I guess. And it needs to be some florals, I suppose, but I think they need to be closer together. It may need some custom quilting, but I'm not the person for that. I'm the edge to edge. That's what I'm capable of. So if you have any suggestions, let me know. I'll take any I can get in the comment. Okay, so on to the next. Okay, so this quilt here was a panel challenge quilt. So I got sent all these hearts here and on this panel, so I cut them all out, and I used a pattern from the 3-Yard Quilt book. I think I'm pretty sure that they have a panel book now, but if you have panels, their books are great for using panels. So that's what I did. And since it was, Heart Valentine, I did the red. This almost reminds me of like a Mickey Mouse or Minnie Mouse maybe, for some reason, I guess, with the red and the dots up here. So it's just basically the panels going on diagonal, and they're not a big panel here. They were small pieces. So that's what I did with them, and I'm pretty sure that was before I started YouTube. So it's pretty old. So it's, small enough. I could probably stick it on the long arm with something else and get 2 things done at once. Wow. But you know what? I think I have another heart quilt. Let's see. I think I do. So maybe I could put those on together and get them done. All right, let me see if I can find my heart quilt. Okay, so here it is. This is my 2 of Hearts quilt. This was the sample I made, I am supposing, by looking at the video. And also on the video that I'm looking at when I did the tutorial on this, I can see in the background the blocks that I showed you earlier when I was still in my other room. I can see my social lights block up on my display wall. Isn't that funny? So I had them hung up. I had them all done. I just didn't get them sewn together. So, but this is the 2 of Hearts quilts. And I did another one. I did one for the video, and it's already done. I've already quilted it, and I actually use it at on Valentine's Day. I was going to say Thanksgiving, but no, on Valentine's Day, I use my 2 of Hearts quilt. And if you're around my age, you might remember that was a song. So, but this is the 2 of Hearts quilt, and this is more Sherry and Chelsea. This was actually their line was, I can't remember the name of it, but it was like a Valentine line. So, just needs to be quilted, or I do have some of this fabric. I could actually put another border around it So it kind of to me looks like hearts and diamonds, and you know, hearts and diamonds. Diamonds are a girl's best friend, right? So I could add a border, or I could just throw it on the long arm with the other heart quilt, use the same pantograph, and get her done. So maybe I can do that. Maybe I'll do that next. Okay, on to the next. Okay, so this quilt is called Out of the Box. I did a tutorial on this in May 2023. These are Free Spirit fabrics, and it just needs to be quilted. That's all there is to it. It's a pretty good size quilt. I'm sure it all needs to be trimmed up on the back, and all that needs to be pressed. It's just been folded up, waiting to get on the long arm. So that is another one. Just needs to be quilted. I think picking a pantograph for that one would be pretty easy. So if any of these quilts you see here, if you want to make and you want the tutorial, just let me know and I will send you the link. Okay, so here is a little quilt. I think this one was a Jolly Bar pattern, maybe. And I didn't tell you the last quilt. It was made out of 10-inch squares. So, and that one was Out of the Box. It was a triangle-free quilt, because I tried to do quite a few triangle-free, half-square triangle-free quilts. But this one is, I'm almost positive, a Jolly Bar quilt from the Fat Quarter Shop. And that, I'm sure that was probably a Jolly Bar, but that was so long ago. It was, again, before I even started YouTube. I mean, it would be great for a little baby quilt. I guess you could put some borders around it to make it bigger. Just, I'd have to decide if I wanted to border it or just be done with it. And whoever's having maybe a little girl and they're going to use these type colors, be a perfect baby quilt. So here we go. I got, let me see, about 3 or 4 plus more. So on to the next. Okay, so here is another one that needs to be quilted. I think this is called Mikasa. This was a Sew Sampler pattern, and it's actually one that I got done. So, it just needs to be quilted. It's really, and it needs to be pressed big time, because it looks like it got wadded up. So, it needs to be pressed. I'm looking at those oranges there together. It looks a little awkward, doesn't it? Yeah, that orange, I don't know. But this is the quilt. Needs to be trimmed, pressed, and long armed, and it's done. I do have the blue. I have either for a binding or a backing. So I have the fabric to do it. I just got to do it. Okay, so on to the next. Okay, so here is the Big Block Scrappy Stash Buster. I did this in February 2025, and it just needs to be quilted. Now, I made the pattern, and I said, if you do this, I don't even know if I should say this now, I would have changed the way I did my layout of these blocks right here. And you can, I know somebody else has sewn it up. It's not a hard sew at all. And I think it looks pretty good. And of course I used all batiks. Let's see, let me get out of the way. So that is my Big Block Scrappy Stash Buster using batiks. And I think I do have one batik wide back, I think. I'd have to go look. And so it just needs to go on the long arm and to be finished and probably to give away to a good home. All right, I just got a few left to do. Here is a quilt that is so old. Not really. It's probably 25 years old. This is like a crazy quilt using fabrics that are, wow, so old. And it needs to be pressed really good and just finished. As you see, the colors are, do they really go together? Not really. Like, there's this green, like, batik in here. And this, they really don't coordinate well. But, you know, back in the day, you used more of what you had. And I didn't have a whole lot apparently. So I stuck it all in one quilt. So this just needs to be pressed and quilted, and I don't know. I don't know what you would do with this one. Somebody may love it. I don't know. And it may look great after you quilt it. I don't know about that, but wishful thinking. Okay, but I'm going to show you another one very similar to this one. Okay, so here is another version of the crazy quilt. I did not make this quilt. Someone gave it to me. And so it just needs to be quilted. I think I like this one a little bit more than the other. It does have the blue that sticks out, but there's also blue in this wreath in here and the ribbon. So maybe that's why. But I do like this one better than the last one. But like I said, I didn't make this. A woman named Ann did. She's since passed. But she made it a long time ago and gave it to me. So I think I'm going to go ahead and get it finished. Maybe I can do that one and this one all at the same time. So that is like a Christmas crazy quilt. Okay, so this is the triple slice. I made this with the layer cake, and it was in August 2025. And I made a sample block using this, and I did the sample different. And if I had to go back and do it all over again, I would have done this like the sample. So I may do this quilt again. The sample was just it was either 1 or 2 blocks that I did. I would definitely think about doing this again and like switching like this block here for these 2 different fabrics, like switching them up instead of using them all the same. I don't know what I was thinking. But, you know, it's easy sew, no half square triangles. I always say that. Just strip piecing all the way through this. So this is a Free Spirit line. And I'm watching my video right now, and I show the block. And I'm using 2 blocks, and I switch like these 2. And that's what I should have done on this, but I didn't. So, but it's got its small borders on. I don't think it needs anything else other than a binding. Do I have a binding to match any of that fabric? I don't think so. But I'll find something, hopefully. And I don't want to buy anything to finish anything that I have here today. I just want to get it finished. So we're going to figure out how I can get this stuff finished real quick. Okay, so now that I've rattled on about that, let me get, I think I just have 2 more. So let me get those hung up. Okay, so this is another winter-ish Christmas quilt. This was a free pattern by the Fat Quarter Shop. Seems like it was called something Railway. And with this, I did the dark gray here in the middle with the snowflakes, and then I did the lighter, or I made it look like it was kind of falling down. I don't know what I did, to be honest, but I can tell you this. I was still sewing with my Bernina when I did it. And at the time, I did not have a 1/4 inch foot with my Bernina, so I had to put a notch over to get my 1/4 inch. So I'd sewed, and I come back and I started, and I forgot to notch over. And so a lot of my blocks are not sewn with a 1/4 inch, so they don't all quite meet up. Can you tell it from there? No. Is it an odd look with this right there? Maybe. But you can see where it's white. Well, it kind of looks like I made the snow kind of just go down. Now that I see it, it's over there. It's like darker, then I go light. I think that's the way it is. It's hard to do it when you're, yeah. See how it goes darker? Like that. I guess that's what I was doing. But this is a long time ago. This was before I even had my YouTube channel. So it just needs to be quilted. And maybe somebody would like it for their home. Okay, so this is the last one. I should have told y'all to pop some popcorn because this has been a long, long show. This is a layer cake Christmas winter quilt, and I just did this not long ago, and I'm going to go ahead and check the date now. Yeah, I just did this 2 months ago, and I think I called it framed and chained because your layer cake has a frame, and then here is your chain. So this is framed and chained, and I really like this quilt. Maybe I can get it done before Christmas because it does have some Christmas scenes and winter scenes. It has Christmas trees and all that stuff. So, but this is a pattern I really like, and I don't even have it all in there. That is actually, there is another row below that one because this is a big quilt. I couldn't get it all in, and I have been on here for a long time. So, the next thing I have coming up, I'm going to do some Franken batting because my big chunks of batting are piling up. So I'm going to be doing that soon. And like I said, I got all those to long arm, some borders to put on. I got a lot to do. I have a layer cake tutorials coming up soon, and I have a scrappy tutorial quilt I've been working on too. So I got so much going on. But with all these quilts, I talked about doing the challenge, and I think like Corey Yoder is doing something like this challenge where like you number your quilts or whatever and you draw, and that is what you work on. And I may do something like that, and if I do, I'll let y'all know, and you can, maybe I'll show you how I do my process. I don't know, but that's what I'm thinking about because I need to get some done. Like I said, I've got that one. It's getting ready to go on, hopefully tomorrow, if all goes as planned. So that is what I've got for you today. A whole bunch of quilts that I need to get finished. So if you could, like, share, and subscribe. If you have any suggestions, just let me know, and be nice. I know I got a lot, but thanks for watching. Bye-bye.